everyone, and welcome. My name is Lina Shakaron, and I'm the Personal Project Coordinator. I would like to welcome you all to this year's Personal Project exhibition. Thank you all for joining us. The MYP Personal Project is a testament to our commitment to nurturing independent and lifelong learners. It empowers our students to explore their interests, challenge themselves, and make a positive impact on their communities. This year was my first year as Personal Project Coordinator, and it happened to be with this cohort, this grade 10, the class of 2025. Now, some of you may know this, some of you may not. I met these lovely young men and women when they were just starting their grade 6 year here, navigating the MYP, and it was an honor to see how they went from the little girls and boys obsessed with Fortnite, wearing their bows and cat ears at some point, to teaching them fractions and equations to the young men and women I see before me today. This was an extra special addition to this year's journey. Today we witnessed the culmination of their hard work and determination. Each project represents a unique journey of self-discovery that our students have undergone. From scientific innovations to artistic masterpieces to social advocacy, our students have showcased the vast spectrum of the human potential. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our team here at Wellspring, to Ms. Joanna, Dr. Christian, Dr. Rita, and Ms. Kitty, and all the teachers who served as supervisors this year. Your dedication and support was extremely appreciated. We would not be here without you. Your passion for education and belief in the potential of every student are the foundation upon which these exceptional projects stand. I'll be brief, I promise. To the parents and families, your support and belief in your children's abilities have been instrumental in their accomplishments. Today, we celebrate your role as well in their journey and acknowledge the profound impact you have had on all of their lives. And finally, to the stars of our day today, our talented young ladies and gentlemen, I applaud your bravery, curiosity, and commitment. Your personal projects are a testament to your dedication, resilience, and independent thinking. You embrace the spirit of inquiry, self-reflection, and global citizenship, which is all what we would like you to learn in the MYP program. And remember, this exhibition is not merely a conclusion, but rather a stepping stone toward a future filled with limitless possibilities. Cherish the lessons that you have learned in this project and take them with you where you may go. To each and every one of you, congratulations on a job exceptionally well done. Your personal projects have not only enriched your own lives, but touched the hearts and minds of those around you. Thank you, and enjoy this exhibition of brilliance, creativity, and the boundless potential of the human. Thank you. Now, before I would like to ask Dr. Rita to speak, we have the song by, we have our own student who composed a piece of music that we would like you to listen to.
Good afternoon. I don't usually like to speak in public, but today I insisted on saying something to you because I learned a lot from the personal project, and I would like to share in 2 minutes exactly what I learned. You see, the personal project at Wellspring in particular is a journey where you, the grade 10 students, show us how you assess your learning, So in fact, your personal project is an evaluation to the high quality learning that we're trying to give you. And from the looks of what I've seen, you've done pretty well. The second lesson I learned is that if you believe in yourself, impossible is not an option. And a sample of that is what Hassan said. I also learned that I'm short. What you just heard is the personification, if I may say, of exactly this. Impossible is not an option. His personal project led him to compose what you just heard in 2 months. And he did something else, which I will leave for him to tell you. Because what he did was he developed something beyond his personal project. He was aiming for one thing, and the outcome was something even bigger. So this is just a sample of what you're going to see. I also learned that as supervisors and as personal project coordinators, it's a big step of humility. It's a big lesson of humility. Because you see, as parents, we want to help you do everything. We are inclined to make sure that your project works. But if we really love you, then what we will do is we'll support you, we'll be there for you, we will challenge you, we'll even sometimes give you hell, right? To make sure that you bring out the best in you and that it's your work, not ours. And the last thing I learned is I started off my journey at Wellspring by being a personal project coordinator. And then I handed it over to a lady who led it to perfection. And she handed it over to another lady who went even a step further. And it's only wonderful to see how big this personal project has become. And Indra, we look forward to what you're going to do next year. So thank you very much. This is high quality learning. This is what you're going to see. Thank you.
Rita, I know what that step is for. That's why I was wondering when you were going to maybe notice. Some of us are just blessed with brains and being short, okay? My first experience with the grade 10 personal project was really, I think it was grade 8 or 9 at the Mataf campus. This is way before we ever thought about being an MYP school. But we knew someday, if we wanted to be an MYP school, that we would have to have this type of personal project. So I was very lucky. I got to be a mentor for 2 young students who have now since graduated. One was comics with something to do with superheroes and his life, and the other one was a young lady. Her cousin was a student at Wellspring at the Mataf campus for a few years. He was I don't want to say invalid, but he was wheelchair bound, and he had a serious illness. And she was able to take him to be around horses and animal therapy. And so every week she would pick the young man up with his wheelchair, literally pick him up, take him to a place where they have horseback riding, and help him, first of all, feel like a human being and be able to do something and be able to pet the horses and be with them. And from this young lady, I learned a lot about, of course, I'm a lover of animals to begin with, but I learned that her journal was a 24-hour picture journal of his life and how difficult it was. And I think that through her determination to help him and his just determination to survive, the whole learning journey for these 2 students was amazing, and I was very honored to be part of that. So since then, things have changed. All of a sudden, we opened this campus up, and we became a MYP school. Still, there's only maybe 1 or 2 other ones in Lebanon now. We are still the only MYP school with the English as the language of instruction. But this whole learning journey has morphed into an amazing, high quality, as Dr. Rita said, learning. And every year it gets better. It takes on a different life of its own. And the students are extremely passionate about their own likes and maybe some even career challenges and career paths. So I want to thank the students, the mentors, the teachers, our board of directors. This is our 16th year of Wellspring, going on 17th. And I can't tell you how honored I am to work with all of you and with parents, new, returning. And I see a lot of familiar faces from even in the back. Hi, you guys. Everybody's here today. How cool. So at any rate, I see a lot of people in the back, I know. So thank you very much for coming. Judge Mortada, we have a family of judges. Judge Mortada and Judge Mortada, would you please stand up and just say hi to everybody? And this is the parents, both, two judges. Along with Judge Mortada is also the Ministry of Culture. And so we're so pleased to have both of you attend today. Thank you very much for taking time from your busy schedule. So I'm going to be quiet, keep quiet. I don't know who I hand over the microphone next, but thank you all very much and have a pleasant afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. Kitty. Before we start touring the booths, I would like to invite you to the Black Box to watch a video about the personal project.
My learning goal was to learn how a cyclone separator works and to know how to build it. It benefited me in meeting with new people.
My learning goal was to learn about the dark side of the fast fashion industry and the unspoken side of this industry. I was able to learn that the fast fashion industry is not what it seems like it is. There's a lot of child labor in underdeveloped countries.
My goal was to spread awareness about misuse of drugs. My product was an article which I have published, which talks about how certain substances affect your body, their bodily functions, neurotransmitters, connections in the brain. This project benefited me a lot since I delved deeper into the functions of the body, into especially the brain functions and neurotransmitters.
My learning goal was investigating the impact of musical tempo on an individual's feelings and emotions. My product was creating two instrumental beats which have different tempo to study what the effect of different tempos has on emotions. I was able to learn how to create two instrumental beats.
I wanted to learn more about sustainable design and create sustainable furniture to help the environment. My product was a 3D prototype of a sustainable desk made out of recycled items. I learned how to use different tools and I learned more about solar panels and how it uses the energy.
My learning goal was to learn more about skincare and like different causes of skincare, different types of skin, and how different medicines and treatments that we can do to like help benefit and treat the skin to become better. And I wanted teenagers to learn more on like how puberty and like different factors may trigger certain skincare routines.
My learning goal was to enhance and expand the learning opportunities of all students in different schools. Not only the viewers are learning more about this specific topic, but I did also. I learned a lot.
My learning goal was to learn how to raise awareness for animals in adoption shelters. It was able to give me skills that I can apply to my real life, and it helped me get a new level of maturity since I was able to do my own project on my own terms.
My learning goal was to teach other people how to make a mother and child matching dress. My product is a small booklet that contains all the information and steps of how to make a matching dress. These dresses are like my first designs I've ever made.
My learning goal was to understand the function of prosthetics and
kind of work on how to make them more affordable. The product that I made was I actually designed a prosthetic arm, and while I couldn't make an actual prosthetic arm, I made a model of it. The experience benefited me in multiple ways. First of all, it helped me develop some skills that I already had, like my research skills, my critical thinking, and time management skills.
My learning goal is to discover how to reduce plastic pollution, reduce its effect. This experience benefited me because I communicated with people such as from different factories of plastic bottles.
My learning goal was to find the advantages of natural supplements for sports activities, to interview a pharmacist and a sport expert. I definitely improved my communication skills.
I had two learning goals during my personal project. One, learning how to animate, and two, learning about lung cancer and smoking. I made an animation on actually how you can catch cancer when smoking. Everyone in my environment is actually a smoker, like a lot of people I know, including my parents and a lot of my friends. So I feel like I was very touched by my personal project, and it helped me learn a lot.
For my personal project, I decided to make a book about refugees and the problems they are facing. I did this project to raise awareness about the refugees and the conditions they are living in, and hopefully result in raising awareness in general to the whole world about this misdemeanor.
My learning goal was to learn how to play the guitar and also learn how to read notes so I can make my own song. My product was a 1-minute song made and composed entirely by me on the guitar. I've always been interested in music, and to this point in time I actually got the chance to broaden my interests by learning how to play guitar.
My product was a simulation representing how different buildings with different damping levels act depending on the different seismic activity. Recently, after the earthquake happened, many people were affected by this, and it caused many problems in our society. This experience helped me learn more about how earthquakes can affect buildings that badly.
My product was a portfolio of photographs expressing a negative body image and different eating disorders. The learning goal was to expand my photography skills and learn how to take professional photographs. This experience was good. I learned a lot of skills, and I learned about different body image problems.
My product was a website that sells jewelry. I had two learning goals. The first one was to raise money and to be able to give it to charity from the jewelry that I was selling. And my second goal was to learn how to do my own business.
My product is a 3D printed water filter that is affordable for all people, and it could be inserted in any water tap around the house. My learning goal was to solve the water pollution problem for the people who don't have access to clean water.
I put together a recipe book containing recipes from the older times. I want the people to feel nostalgic when they read my book. So I made it look like a vintage design. I enjoyed my experience throughout creating this product because it was something I've never done before.
My product is a collection of paintings about the negative effects of beauty standards on female teenagers. It was very beneficial, and I got to learn many new skills, and I got to learn how to paint, and I gained a new hobby.
My learning goal was to learn Python, which is a computer programming language. My product in my personal project was to create a guidebook that talks about data analysis of Formula 1 using Python. The whole experience of personal project was really enlightening and delightful, as it was linked to one of my favorite sports, which is Formula 1, and obviously Python is important in today's world.
My learning goal is to become familiar with the topic of sustainable interior design. My product was a sustainable program-driven home, a programmed house made on 3D Me.
My learning goal was basically to learn how to sew using a sewing machine and demonstrate my acquired skill by designing and sewing a dress that is sustainable. This experience gave me the opportunities to learn beyond the boundaries of school. I was able to explore interests that I've always wanted to explore, such as fashion.
My learning goal was basically to learn how to construct school in virtual reality, and this project helped me develop my self-management skills, my organization skills, and my communication skills with my teacher. I also learned a lot about virtual reality, which can also be very beneficial in the future.
My learning goal is learning the impact of screen light on sleeping habits and raising awareness for people with poor sleeping habits and mainly teenagers. From this experience, I learned a lot of information. I learned how to avoid the screen light, what I can do, how I can improve my sleeping habits.
My learning goal was to teach and raise awareness about the use of hydroelectricity in Lebanon. The product is an instructional website that will teach and raise awareness about this issue. I learned how to make and design a website and applied all of my communication and critical thinking skills.
My learning goal was to learn how to portray cognitive bias, which is someone's way of thinking due to their past experiences in media, such as comics, books, and different types of literature. And I decided to make my product a comic so I can practice my art skills at the same time as my writing and literature skills. It definitely helped my time management skills because I had to manage it with a lot of other assignments they gave us in grade 10.
My learning goal was to learn a new skill, the art of knitting, to be able to create pullovers, scarves, mittens for the less fortunate in Lebanon to give them a warm feeling inside and out. This project allowed me to take on new challenges and it improved my abilities and confidence.
My learning goal was to learn more and research more about MDD, which is major depressive disorder. My product was a painting that showcases major depressive disorder and like what a person might go through, so basically the causes.
My learning goal is to learn Arabic calligraphy. My product are 4 canvases. Each canvas features one single word. It helped me gain much more information about my culture.
My learning goal was learning a new language, boost self-esteem. My product was a manga about 2 pen pals. They get to learn about each other's cultures, the English language, the Japanese language.
My product was a fully sustainable home.
The learning goal was learning how to use AutoCAD to be able to fully design a sustainable home.
I did a website so I can help other people learn how to deal with stress and know what stress is originally. I researched a lot and I learned how to explicitly get new information and add them into different websites.
When it rains, it collects the water here and then it goes down to the basement. It recycles it so that it could be reused in the house. So basically, it's cleaner water and we're using less water and less energy. And here outside, there's native plantings. Native plantings purify the air, but they have to be rechanged monthly. Yeah, they have to be rechanged monthly. And here the light pressure is less so that we could use less energy.
There is solar panels?
Yeah, there is solar panels and skylights on the rooftop.
My topic is about the use of hydropower in Lebanon. My learning goal is to raise awareness about the use of these water sources to produce in most of Lebanon's areas electricity that can be affordably produced and at the same time environmentally friendly. So I did a website, you can scan it here to access it.
Of youth, there's a lot of teenagers and young people who deal with this problem in many different ways, whether it's relationships with family or with school or with themselves even. So I decided to learn more about this and give topics such as surveys and interviews with the counselor and different students, where I learned their perception of what stress is and what they think of stress in their own lives. Through that information, I created a website where it lists all the different aspects on all the different ways to deal with stress and what stress is. So through reading this website, you can learn what your problem is and how you can overcome it, and also how other people deal with this problem. Thank you.
My project was about something called cognitive bias, and it's a very popular theme in psychology. It's about the ways people perceive and judge and think based on their daily experiences and their exposure to different people and ideas. For example, if you grow up in a religious household, you'll start basing your morality off of your morals, your religion, and the way you view things as right or wrong. And I'm really interested in art, so I decided to showcase my project in the form of a comic book. And all these drawings are based off of real pictures and drawings I've done myself. So this is all like my work originally. For example, this is my room. And it's a 6-page comic, and I explore different themes like body image, religion, and school and friends. Yeah.
So I designed a prosthetic arm
that would be more affordable because it's made out of reused materials, since less than 20% of amputees have access to prosthetics because they're so expensive. So I wanted to make something that would be both affordable and eco-friendly. So this is what I designed. This is only a visual model of what it would look like. It's not the actual prototype. My learning goal was to better understand prosthetics, and my product goal was to design a more affordable prosthetic arm, and I was able to do both of that. And yeah, I evaluated myself based on these 5 success criteria, and then I sent a survey out to people, and that was basically the whole process.
So I made a website about the different types of skin conditions, and for example I talked about vitiligo, psoriasis, hives, eczema and acne, and then each section in the website has the causes, the different types and the medications and treatments you can take for that specific condition. And then in the website there's like a quiz where you can test your knowledge about like skincare, and then in the quiz it can help you learn more about skincare. And there's also a section where about frequently asked questions, and then in that it has questions with answers about different types. And lastly, there's a section in the website where you can contact me and a dermatologist I was in contact with, and you can ask us any questions and we'll reply to you by the email. Thank you.
So I decided to learn the art of knitting to be able to create garments such as hats, mittens and scarves for the less fortunate in Lebanon, to be able to give them a warm feeling inside and out. And I also created a brochure with step-by-step instructions with different techniques to teach the less vulnerable people how to knit.
Okay, so my learning goal was to learn Arabic calligraphy, and my product are 4 canvases: حب, صبر, أمل وسلام. وهو basically what Lebanon needs nowadays.
So basically, I wanted to learn how to take professional photographs, and I decided to choose the topic of negative body image and eating disorders. And then I developed it by getting my friends as models and taking professional photographs of them and learning how to edit them. And then I printed them out, and this is my product.
This is a vertical garden that uses plastic bottles, cardboards, and ropes, that is placed in balconies and salon or anywhere that you want to put like a plant. This is used perfectly in the balcony, because instead of putting the plants horizontally, you can put it vertically. That takes less space, and it utilizes and it grows plants in a specific and a better way in a good environment. Here in the vertical garden, I colored it blue and green to represent the colors of the environment: blue for the water and green for the trees and plants and other stuff.
Basically, let's say there's a pandemic this year or next year. My product can help us with virtual classes instead of us being in a class. I mean, in a computer, behind our computers doing online. I think this is a better way for education and for students. And yeah, this is basically my product.
My learning goal was inspired by my inspiration to learn Japanese over the summer. And as a result, I made a product called a manga. It's about this girl called Misa. Her mom recently died around the same time of the famous cherry blossom blooming festival. And she usually celebrates at night with her mom when the fireworks erupt. And it's usually like the highlight of her year. However, due to her passing, she cannot, her rock, she's very upset. So she doesn't really celebrate it. And then in English class, she gets introduced to something called a pen pal, where she meets an American guy who she'll later become best friends with. Only speaks English, whereas she only speaks Japanese. They have to find a way to connect, disregarding the language barrier. And a year later, she finally gets to meet him in the United States. And a year later, with the cherry blossoms, she finally gets to
erupt the fireworks with her new best friend, and she finally gets to make peace with the fact that she can be happy and progress without her mother.
Okay, so for my product, I made a recipe book consisting of old, authentic Lebanese recipes. And as for the design, I was looking to make something different than today's recipe books since they're so modern. So I decided to make it as if you just grabbed it from your grandma's closet in the village and you brought it with you, as for the vintage design. So for the papers, I dipped them in coffee and let them dry, and then I printed the recipes in like cursive to make it seem as if it was also old. Yeah, that's it.
So my personal project is about making a mother and daughter matching dress. So this is the mother's dress, and this is the daughter's dress. And my goal is to teach other people how to make the matching dress. So I made a small booklet. I made this small booklet that contains all the steps of how to make a matching dress. So for the mother's dress, I separated the dress into two pieces so the mother can design and wear it however she wants. So we have the top and the bottom, and if she would like, she can wear it both at the same time, so it would look somehow like this. So this is basically my personal project about.
Okay, so my personal project, the aim of my personal project was to spread awareness about drug use, especially in people our age, like my age group and our generation right now, since the problem is that a lot of people our age actually do drugs without even knowing their side effects or their long-term effects. So therefore I've wrote an article, and published it online, explaining their actions, explaining how they are acting on certain factors in our body, on the nervous system, on the receptors in our brain, and yeah, I've also talked about their misusage, like the abuse of those drugs, because a lot of people abuse certain medication for their needs or for their high, or to stay focused longer on a task. Yes, I've talked also about the three main categories, which are CNC depressants, CNC stimulants, and hallucinogens. Depressants, okay, all of them have a different effect on your body. Yes, in fact, I just wanted to spread awareness, and I made an article and a brochure. The brochure aims to make it clear to students our age, since it has two leading characters, which kind of have a conversation between each other, talking about drugs and explaining it to each other. There's a teacher which explains to the student. Yeah.
So for this project, basically I sell art. I made an Instagram account called Cord the Copper, and it shows all my art. It's this account, and people message me privately if they want me to draw something for them, so that when I draw it for them, they pay me back.
Okay, so for my personal project, I wanted to do something that affects me and something that relates to my daily life, as I wanted to take things to a further step. Okay, so obviously in our world now everything is going digital, and work and anything is becoming on phones and laptops and so on. People are not even having to leave their houses to make money and make businesses and so on. Okay, so an example of this is data analysis in Formula 1. So Formula 1 is a sport, obviously, where there are drivers, teams, and races, and so on. It's about racing, okay? And I took data analysis using Python. Python is a programming language. It's one of the top languages in the world. And I learned Python to be able to analyze data in Formula 1. And it can be used in many different aspects of the world. It can be used in different sports. It can be used in different industries and everything. And I took it in Formula 1. Okay, so I made a guide. About data analysis in Formula 1. Okay, and if we open the guide, you can see different aspects of the Formula 1 sport, such as trucks and teams and drivers. And I plotted graphs and analyzed previous data from so far as 1950 until now to show how different parts of, let's say, the driver's performance, the team's performance, the team's strategy, and the tracks, how they affect the overall performance of the team. And basically, this would be valuable. This would be valuable to a Formula One team, as it would give solutions to problems and come up with better solutions to make them better teams. So the top teams in the world right now, let's say Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, so on, they use they're using data analysis to basically up the level of their game and make better strategies and improve their car and have the best performance of their drivers based on using previous data. So this is in short my personal project. I used a software called Jupyter Notebook to do all my data analysis and to plot all my graphs using Python. Okay, so here I'll give you an example. So here you can see a few of my codes and how I made the graphs. This is basically the origin of my whole project. So I learned how to use Python, how to program. Through this, I came up with my entire guide, and I utilized Python to analyze data in Formula One.
Alright, I know my personal project is about lung cancer and smoking. I was inclined to make it about lung cancer and smoking because my parents are very heavy smokers, like especially my dad. A lot of people around me are smokers. So I thought my personal project was the perfect way to raise awareness about lung cancer and smoking. Basically, by doing that, I made an animation that depicts exactly how a smoker can get lung cancer by smoking. Here, let me play it for you right now. Okay. Okay, I want to stop for a sec to say, when you smoke tobacco, you're exposing your body to 69 different cancerous substances, okay? When these cancerous substances interact with your cells, they actually damage the DNA, causing it to become a cancerous cell. Well, as you know, normal cells mutate and everything. So as they mutate, in months or years later to come, a tumor forms.
So my project is about the dark side of the fast fashion industry. I decided to create a website which targets the dark side of the fast fashion industry, specifically the poor working conditions, the child labor, the effect on the environment, and the animal cruelty involved. So basically, fast fashion mass produces clothes at a cheap price. Fast fashion brands try to maximize their profit and minimize expenses. And basically, if their effect on the environment, fast fashion brands, with the extra straps and clothes that are left over, they throw them into landfills and they burn them, and this in turn releases a lot of CO2 in the atmosphere, and it is one of the factors that causes air pollution. Fast fashion brands also, they try to they have sweatshops in underdeveloped countries such as Bangladesh and India. And so the working conditions are very bad, and there are lots of poor working conditions. They exploit the workers, and especially children. There's a lot of children who work and are exposed to bad conditions in the factories. There isn't a lot, the ventilation isn't well in the factories, and the tools are very hazardous and harmful. Basically, yeah. And I decided to create a website which compiles all this info and explains each part in depth, and yeah.
So my personal project is called My Lego House, and the aim of this project is that since the development of technologies and different types of building materials that we are using to build our houses, we are kind of destroying the environment, and we have a negative impact on it. So I decided to try and incorporate sustainable materials and sustainable techniques into building a house on AutoCAD. AutoCAD is an engineering software that I utilized to be able to finish this product. And what I did is I used solar energy and water energy, because as we have here is a water tank and it's a reservoir. So in winter, when it rains, the water is collected in the tank, and we can use the water to create energy, and we can use the water for everyday use such as bathrooms, kitchens, and sinks. And then we have solar panels on the top of the house, which is slanted to be able to absorb more energy from the solar panels. And that helps us take solar energy and produce the house with energy. The materials used to build this house are such as bamboo and glass, and the glass is against heat because it helps with ventilation inside. This is why we have different openings in the house. So because the glass is heat protectant, it won't get that hot in summer, and we need less energy for ACs and such.
أنا عم جرب أتعلم وأعلم عن الأوسيليشن dumping. نحن بنعرف إنه في 3 types of dumping. الأندر dumped, critically dumped والأوفر dumped. مفضل لكل البنايات for better safety reasons وهيك إنه يكونوا under dumped. سبب ورا هيدا لأنه لما يكون في أي نوع seismic activity شي زلازل شي هيك البناية is gonna sway left and right. لما it sways left and right بتكون عم تمتص هيدي ال vibratory motions through the concrete shear wall وبتكبها لتحت على الفاونديشن. لما it sways left and right بيكون acting عليها lateral forces وبيكون ال vibratory motion caused by ال earthquakes وهيك انكبوا على الفاونديشن وما عندهم أثر بقى على البناية. لازم يكون under damped ومش over damped. السبب انه ما يكون over damped لانه اذا كان over damped السبب تبعه انه دغري توقف البناية. اذا دغري وقفت البناية وبعد بيكون في هود ال vibratory motions على المبنى ممكن يتكسر الكونكريت وتفرط البناية. وهيدا اكيد ما بدنا اياه they look more into using under damped ليقللوا أكثر نسبة الدامج على البناية.
So after the recent wars between Ukraine and Russia, I had the choice of making a product. I chose this product to be a book. This book discusses the millions of refugees in Lebanon and in Russia and in Ukraine and the bad conditions they are living in. So this book, it contains three different families and 3 different interviews, all of which I interviewed, and they told me their life stories. So after telling me their life stories, I documented it and I added it to my book. This book will hopefully raise awareness about this misdemeanor and hopefully reduce the problems that these refugees are living in. Thank you.
First, I would like to tackle the problem of the decrease in percentage of water pollution in Lebanon, of people who have decrease in percentage of people who have access to clean water in Lebanon. So I created a 3D model of a 3D design of a 3D printed water filter that could be inserted in a water tap to filter water, and it's made out of sustainable materials and is cheap for everyone to have for everyone to afford it. With my product, it could increase the rate of people who have access to clean water in Lebanon, and it could decrease the rate of diseases and deaths from polluted water in Lebanon.
Basically, I learned how to play the guitar and compose a song on the guitar in a very short amount of time. This is because I had a different project before and I had to scrap it last minute, so I only had 2 months to learn and compose my own song. In the beginning I found it very difficult because I couldn't really understand the tablature and the musical notes that had to go with it. But after analyzing it and everything, I found a way to take what I understood from tabs and apply it into a completely different and new way of note-taking, which I understood myself, and that's what helped me write my song. Basically, the teachers told me that the note-taking method that I made is way easier for kids to understand than traditional forms of tablature, and that's why I'll be presenting it to a group of business investors so they can see if they could use that form of tablature that I made so that they could go ahead and turn it into a school model or academic model for young kids to learn guitar from early on.